So here we have an example of the experience of Maharishi's Transcendental Meditation program. I'm going to stop the screen for a moment here. You can see on the top we have the blinking cursor. Shows you the left front EEG. The second line shows you the right front EEG. And the bottom line shows you the oscillation from more to less of EEG coherence between the left and right frontal alpha EEG. You can see that the red line is at 0.9, where maximum is 1 or 100%. And so the scale goes from 0 to 100%. And we're going to continue now to see what happens when the person starts meditation. They're not meditating, and then they'll start in just a moment. Notice when they started meditation, it took them about less than half a second. Notice the high amplitude of local coherence in the front, on the left, and the right-hand side. And the similarity in the signals, just the waveforms look pretty similar. And the similarity is borne out by careful calculation of the EEG coherence. And let's just pause here. So we paused. You can see that right at the start of TM, coherence maximized and stayed most of the time above 90% or 0.9, which is extraordinary because the normal range of coherence is somewhere between 30 and 40% for an individual. This individual has very good brain coherence even when they're not meditating, which is averaging around 60%. And when they start meditating within less than a second, they go to that very high level. And here's our second person. Again, the left frontal alpha EEG on top, the right frontal alpha brainwaves the second, and the third is the relationship between the left and the right frontal alpha, the coherence, which goes from minimum 0 to maximum 1, or from 0 to 100%. And the red line is 90 percentile. And you can see the individual fluctuates. She started meditation right here, and you can see she spends most of her time hovering around 90%. There was a little adjustment in her chair during her meditation, but she continues to be quite stable above 90 percentile, which is quite a remarkable thing. And here's our third subject. On top is the left frontal EEG brainwave patterns, the right frontal brainwave patterns of the CEO, and below is the coherence between the left and right hand sides of the brain. This is the third individual, and you can see that this individual's coherence oscillates between about 20% and 100%. We'll see when they start meditating quite soon what happens to the EEG. Notice that right at the beginning of TM, within about less than a second, there's a maximizing and a plateauing of EEG around and usually above 90 percentile, which is quite remarkable. And you notice that this individual will continue to remain in that state, even though they're in a testing situation. Very high, stable coherence between the left and the right side of the front of the brain, which is responsible for all the executive functions, the high-level executive functions. Notice how the EEG continues along at very high levels of EEG alpha wave power as well.